Well, hello and welcome to the podcast Like Pigs in Space, an arts and culture discussion. And my name is Aaron Mason, and sharing the podcast with me is Max Mason, and he'll introduce himself.
Yep, that's me. I'm Max Mason. I'm the son, the eldest.
The eldest son. Yep. And that makes me the father.
Yeah.
So we decided to. I reached out to Max to see if we could talk through some interesting topics that he's been exploring, and then we'll share each of our ideas of different art things. I think we'll be covering a lot like literature and music, and I was even thinking there was a good argument for some film discussion, um,
hmm
based on some books I've read recently. So that
Yeah.
sounds like what we'll be covering, and hopefully it'll be thought provoking.
Hopefully. Well, I guess I'll start off with I have a question, and do you like bugs?
Yeah, often yes, yes I do.
All right, because we're going to be talking about ants.
Okay, all right,
Uh, More specifically, we're going to be talking about Ants from Up There,
okay.
is the name of the album by Black Country New Road.
Uh,
It's my love this album. There's a lot to talk about, so I just want to give some like a little bit of background on the band and kind of the environment around it when this album came out. Um, so the album itself came out in February 4th, 2022, um,
okay.
and 4 days before that, January 31st of 2022, the lead singer of the band announced that he was leaving. They had dropped a few singles beforehand. I wasn't really aware of them at all before this, but
Okay.
um, he announced that he was leaving. Um, and it was kind of an interesting note that he wrote up this little blurb, kind of explaining what's going on. And I have a few quotes from it. It starts with saying, "Hello, everyone. I have bad news, which is that I have been feeling sad and afraid too." And kind of goes on to be like, I can't sing and play these songs anymore without being too sad. um, but he has this like really unique way of writing, and it comes out in the lyrics a lot too.
Oh
That's
wow.
very like kind of like disjuncted and angular. You kind of have to read what he says a few times to be like, okay, I get what he's saying now. Um, but he says that it's hard to play, and he's doing it in spite of his friends and the people he makes music with, who
Hmm.
you know it's nothing against them. It's just that he can't handle it. Um, so he says that, and then he ends it with a quote from the professor from Futurama, which is, "So that's what things would be like if I'd invented the thing longer," and that's how he ends it.
Okay.
So it kind of gives you a interesting glimpse into his mind and how he views things.
Okay.
Um, and then there's so the rest of the band there. So that was Isaac. Isaac's a singer and guitarist in the band. And then there's six other people um,
Yeah.
playing guitar and bass and drums. And then there's also violin, saxophone, and piano, kind of rounding out the group. Um, I want to talk a little bit about their first album because it kind of it does play into this second album, the Answer 'Em Up There, in
Okay.
a few a few ways. But so so their first album is called For the First Time, and it's really like dark and moody, and there's a lot of like dissonant guitar work, um, and a lot of like more spoken word from Isaac. It's not much singing, but just kind of these rambling not rambling, but like telling these little stories along the way that's not really necessarily songs, just kind of poetry at best. um, and there's a lot of like really interesting ones. That album's only 6 songs long, but it's almost an hour long too.
Right. Yeah.
um,
Okay.
so there's these songs, like there's one song called Sunglasses where he kind of there's 2 main parts of the song, and it kind of shifts perspective through this like kind of floating intro part where he's singing about like this like posh life, this like partner he's interested, and kind of being enveloped by their rich, British life. Um, Talks about becoming like her father, and complaining about rising skirt hems, lowering IQs, and things just aren't built like they used to be. And through that, there's this like breakdown that's like this free jazz, noisy, just descending, mess of stuff going on. And then it cuts into this kind of chunky strum pattern.
Okay.
This like one dissonant chord. The rest of the song is pretty much just one chord for the last like 4 minutes of the song. But it shifts perspectives kind of into his love interest, and she's saying,
wow.
That there's the lyrics like, "I'm more than adequate. Leave my daddy's job out of it," and kind of getting at these like you don't really hate me because of these like posh rich things. Like, tell me what you're really thinking. Like just get to it, and instead of having all this like pretense around it.
Okay.
And there's other like really fun songs. The last song on the album is Opus, and it's huge. Like, it has these like klezmer bits from the saxophone and violins, and some of the chords at the end of it kind of remind me of Mars by Holst, like the planets.
Right. Okay. Star Wars-ish.
Yeah, Star Wars is, but just like there's like this droning kind of note, but then these like chords that are kind of just like random but fit really well.
Right. Gotcha.
And then there's the song right before that is track X, and it's really kind of calm and quiet, kind of like minimalist music from the 40s and 50s and 60s, where it's just kind of like simple repeated patterns that are maybe not in the right time signature, so they kind of repeat in weird ways.
Oh, okay.
And it kind of is the first glimpse at where they want to go with the next album. But it's really good, and it's really strange for a debut album, just how unique and defined they have their sound, like from the get-go.
Yeah, that's very cool.
So while that album came out, and a couple months later they went to go record this album, this Ants from Up There. During the pandemic, they were on an island in Britain somewhere, just on their own, completely isolated within the other isolation of lockdowns, and they recorded this album just over a couple of weeks. Most of the takes were all live, except for vocals added later. And I think it's really interesting to think of it. I've heard it kind of described as like a concept album, but it feels more like a concepts album.
Oh.
Like there's a couple like repeated ideas that show up in a lot of songs. There's things like Concord, the plane,
Yeah.
being an analogy. Also Billie Eilish and insects,
Okay.
video games and burying, like being buried. And then it has, so these things come up in in various ways. There's a lot about distance too, and obsession.
Yeah.
Typical sad boy things. But it's stylistically, or at least musically, it's just completely different than the last album. There's a lot more like color and warmth. Uh, I wrote here like if For the First Time was winter, Answer Up There is fall.
Okay. Gotcha.
So a lot more color. It's still kind of some
Yeah, yeah.
coldness to it, but still really rich.
So they're working their way.
And it feels,
They're working their way backwards through the seasons and
yeah,
warming up a little bit.
I think so. It and like every song feels a little more intentional. Like it all feels like it's one uh, piece altogether. When some of the songs on For the First Time kind of felt like they had the guitar, bass, drum stuff worked out, and then they were just like, do saxophone stuff over this. It doesn't really like play into it. Some of the lines are the same, and it's still good. It's still eerie, but these compositions, all these songs feel very intentional. Like they all got together, wrote out, and knew what they were going to play.
Cool.
There's a lot, a lot of the members are playing different instruments than they usually have. And then Isaac is actually singing. Like he's moved away from the spoken word stuff and it actually has like melody, and it's still his voice, still very like raw,
Okay.
but there is distinct melody with all of it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that kind of sets up the background, the band where they are,
Okay.
and we get to track one. Yeah, which is called Intro. And it's really quick. It's 54 seconds, and it's just instrumental. And there's this repeated theme. It's like boo doo 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 doo. That just is repeated over and over and over again, with the saxophone, violin, and piano. And I've seen I've read a lot about this album, and I see a lot of discourse that kind of like dismisses this song,
Oh.
because it's in the grand scheme of the album, it's an instrumental song. There's not like the lyrical depth because there are no lyrics.
Right. Right.
But I think it's really important because right away, especially if you'd known the band before this, it just is completely different from their last work. It's very fast and punchy. It's very bright sounding.
Yeah.
And it's also really important to the album as a whole. Like it sets up this theme, this motif that comes back a few times throughout the
Okay.
album, and especially in the last track. And it reminds me of a scene from The Office, actually, where the whole office goes to see Andy doing a like local theater production of Sweeney Todd.
Right.
And they're like kind of chit-chatting before the show starts, and it starts and Michael's still talking, and he's sitting next to Daryl, and Daryl's like tells him to be quiet, and he's like if you're talking you're gonna miss the themes brought up in the overture.
There you go.
Yeah. Which is kind of what this song is. Like it's like the overture for the album, and it's one motif, but it does set up a lot for the rest of the project.
Yeah, just not to detract from your line, but I just heard somebody talking about a song from the band is the songs from The Big Chair was the album,
Mm-hmm.
and it was those people. Dang it. Well, it was anyway. They were talking about there's a theme that runs through the that gets repeated, kind of like this when you're saying overture, and it goes back and forth.
Tears for Fears.
Yeah, Tears for Fears. And so there's one of the songs that they were just playing this repeated tune that kind of plays between, and that became a huge hit because they developed on that song the song Head Over Heels, and they took what was just a little interlude and then
Yeah.
built a song on it. So you know, sometimes it was, and they weren't going to do that song. They built it because somebody, hey, that's pretty good, and
Yeah.
you should, you know, and
Yeah.
so yeah, it's interesting how that can happen.
I think there's a lot of songs I really like that that just kind of like they were sound check songs or just noodling around before the actual gig.
Yeah,
Like I think Jumpsuit by 21 Pilots. That huge bass sound in the beginning was just his like sound check
right.
noodling for a long time. Then he was like, I think I'm gonna use this for more.
Yeah, there's it is interesting because I've actually seen a string of those happen. I think there's one from Metallica. They were talking about it, and there's another one from oh, I was listening Aerosmith. Steven Tyler was saying that they're using a vibra slap in the intro to
Mm-hmm.
Sweet Emotion, and it actually
Yeah.
broke while they were playing it,
Yeah.
and they just left it in that sound because it was a good sound. So yeah, it's good to hear when people embrace when things go
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
So or or just when they're just innovating on the spot. So
Right.
okay,
Nice.
cool.
All right. So that moves us into track two, which is called Chaos Space Marine,
Okay.
which I guess I don't know anything about this, but that is a Warhammer 40K character, which is like a
Oh
tabletop minifigure game.
yes.
Because I guess Chaos is one of the groups that you can be, and a Space Marine is like a title within that.
No.
I don't really know how it plays into the track. Maybe if I knew the song a little more, or not the song, if I knew the game a little more, um, maybe I'd have some more insight on that, but I don't.
Maybe it's just a
Yeah.
good name.
But this song is like really, really fast paced. It has these like staccato piano chords. Um, this like fun little riff that starts out the song where, and then there'll be a little break and the violin, saxophone, piano get like a little chance to do a little mini solo right at the beginning. It's just kind of fun. Um, and it just builds and builds and builds into this like huge chorus where there's this like rolling toms sound, and then it develops a little more and brings back that riff from the beginning into this like halftime slowed version of it that kind of like rocks out the rest of the song and just kind of lets you sit in it and sway, and yeah, it's really fun. Kind of a lot brighter, a lot probably one of the fastest songs they've ever written.
Yeah. So, so do you think that bands do that to see maybe as a note to their fans? Because there's a few bands that have a riff that they'll throw in at different times,
Hmm.
and I think maybe that's kind of a note, a note of familiarity, and so you can't, or getting an inside joke. It seems like
Yeah.
that's what they're trying to do. Is like, did you hear that earlier? Did you hear that from another song? We're making an
Yeah.
allusion back to it, type of thing.
Yeah, I think definitely the illusion idea where it's like
Hmm.
it kind of will tell the people like, hey, these songs or these stories are connected in some way, and like
Oh,
you know
yeah,
go figure it out. We're not going to tell you, but these two these two this riff kind of connects the two,
yeah,
and see if you can figure it
yeah.
out.
Very good.
And then I think
Yeah, I think it's good. Yeah.
and then I think it shows like a really like mature songwriting style, which is like we're just gonna take a couple pretty simple elements and use them to like their full extent.
Hmm. Yeah, that's good.
Like there's other songs where like the melody for the chorus will show up way before you even get to the chorus, and just kind of hinting you. It's like, this is where we're going. Maybe this will sound familiar or nostalgic by the time you get to the chorus, even though you've never heard the song before.
Gotcha. I like the idea of building in nostalgia to your song.
Yeah.
That's a good concept.
This song is also like the lyrics are kind of its own little story. It feels like it does bring up some ideas in the outro. There's just like Billie Eilish style Concord will fly again. Oh, Concord will fly and then ignore the hole I've dug again. These are like lyrics that come back
Hmm.
in later songs.
Right.
Um, and then the first time I listened to it, I don't know, maybe it's not an accurate uh, assumption, but it felt very like David Bowie inspired, especially like early David Bowie.
Yeah.
Um, and kind of his voice too. It kind of has that like wobble that David Bowie has.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And then their bassist, her name's Tyler, um, described the song as a silly song, a sea shanty, a space adventure. And it kind of does feel a little more um, high energy, and especially the sea shanty. It feels very like uh,
Right.
I don't know, what's the right word?
Playful or
Playful.
rolling or
Rolling, yeah,
dancing, because the shanty is gonna kind of have a bounce to it, right? Uh,
yeah,
you know, it's got a up and down that goes with the whole shanty thing to inspire some kind of dance
hmm
or whatnot.
yeah,
Yeah.
and definitely it kind of feels like there's a little bit of even like call and response in some of the
Oh,
lyrics, and
yeah,
there'll be
that
like
too.
these like oh yeah, like stuff with like background vocals, and
Yeah.
so we get that. It kind of just ends on this soft chord, um, and then this song and the intro like really tricked me into thinking I was listening to the first time I listened to it that I was listening to something completely different, just some like uh, Arcade Fire esque,
Hmm.
lots of instruments, but still just like nice little indie rock songs.
Right.
His voice was interesting, but instrumentally it was just kind of like, oh, this is fun. I like this. Like, and then we get to track 3, which is
Okay.
called Concord, and this I can't listen to this song without bawling.
Oh,
It's
emotional.
it's so pretty and so emotional and very like understated. It almost kind of feels like a folk song, because you just have these like soft little acoustic
Yeah.
chords, and there's some mandolin mixed in there.
Right.
Um, and it is pretty much just another like it's just two chords kind of back and forth pushed out to like the full extent of what that can be. There's a lot of lyrics about growing insistent and dependent on a person. Like he in the first verse kind of describes it as like forming a new organ
Oh,
with this person.
okay. Yeah.
Um, but then there's also like allusions to Star Wars and the Atkins diet. um, really,
Of course.
yeah. he the
Good.
I think there's the lyric is like, so don't tell me you're hungry, because darling, I'm starving myself, and I heard you're on Atkins as well.
Oh, what? That's funny. That
But
we're all in pain, don't
yeah,
worry.
it's like you're not hungry, you're just on a diet.
Yeah, that's
um,
funny.
the lyrics I want to like talk about the most are just the chorus, because it's just really like really genius how they do it, because like each time it comes around it's a little bit different, like they add to it or change the lyrics on the way around each time, each chorus.
Okay.
So the first chorus starts with and you like Concord, I came a gentle hill racer, I was breathless upon every mountain just to look for your light.
Hmm.
So you get that, and then goes to the next verse. And when it comes back, he repeats that part, but then adds to it. Um, but for less than a moment, we'd share the same sky, and then Isaac will suffer, Concord will fly.
Okay. So,
So he's just like very much inserting himself into the story.
yeah.
Um, But this feeling of just like I'll do anything just to get like a fraction of a second just to see this person, and I think it's gonna be great. It's put in all this effort, and when it happens, you're just left here to suffer,
Yeah.
and still feel alone, because Concord is out flying away 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, and that's the whole implication is that the Concorde is the fast. It moves too fast to appreciate,
Yeah.
and and it is a rare thing
Yeah.
too. It's not everybody's. Very few people have flown on the Concorde. It was a rare flight. It was expensive and unobtainable.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. And then there's also like the Concorde is kind of brought up a lot as like a example of a sunk cost fallacy, because it was just
hmm,
so expensive to
right,
develop it,
right.
and the countries where I think it was France did a lot of the development. Or
Yeah, I think it's France. I have actually seen a Concorde because they have one sitting in Heathrow.
oh, okay.
So but it's just sitting there.
Yeah.
It can't. It, I don't.
Doesn't work.
I think it's there's a museum piece
Hmm.
kind of thing. But yeah, it was that was. Yeah, the French did. I believe did a lot of that work.
Yeah. But like they just put so much money into it, and it just still wasn't working, and they're just like, we've just got to finish it. We've already put so much money into it. It's even though it might be a failing game in the end.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
it's an interesting plane.
And then we get to the last chorus, which changes it up a little more, and it comes and you like Concord, I came a light blue sleeper, and I lay dead or twitching for most of the night. But I know that you'll be there, the Sandman inside, and I'll come to like a child. Concord and I die free this time.
Hmm.
So just like he talks a lot, I feel like a lot about dreams. Just in his dreams, things being a lot better than how they're actually going on, and not really being able to like reconcile that with reality.
Hmm.
And it's always like, well, in my dreams this is going really well, so why isn't it going well in reality?
Yeah, is that seems like I wonder how people reconcile uh, putting so much into their what they're dreaming about. I think that's where
Mm-hmm.
some dissonance between what your life is and what it could be, in realizing that there's a fantasy, an idealized version of any outcome, but you've got the responsibility to yourself to temper the expectations, and maybe that's the difference between those that are happy and those that aren't. is
Yeah.
is inability to separate the dreams and wishes from um, what is possible or what will happen,
Mm-hmm.
and that's an interesting problem or interesting outlook. And
Yeah.
sure dreams are better, uh, because if they're not, you call them nightmares, and that's a whole different
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yeah.
It's yeah, interesting.
Yeah. And then the song, it, explodes into this like big huge outro. Everyone is kind of doing this huge melody that's like tremolo picked on the a distorted guitar, and it's just going at it. It's really having a fun time.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and that's it. It just lifts you up, this huge melody, and then lets you fly off into the next song.
Huh. Cool.
Even in the
Yeah,
piano,
that's
it kind of ends like doo doo doo, like doo 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 doo, and you're there. You're just up at the top.
that, that sounds good. Now I'm gonna need to listen to all these, so I know what the
Yeah,
rest of the
you're
day will
good.
be like up to the.
Yeah. All right. Track 4, we got
Okay.
Bread Song.
I like bread.
This one's about bread. Kind of. Um, this one I think is one of the more interesting compositions.
Okay.
Because you have this like kind of like finger picked soft guitar intro, but it's very like loose and like free flowing. It's just I think Isaac is the one playing it, so he knows like he can stop for a second if he needs to sing enough lyrics. But yeah, it's very very loose until it gets to the chorus, where there's these big swells. Like I don't know how they did it, but it sounds like a full orchestra like doing these big swells, and they just kind of are watching each other, listening to the lyrics on when to like swell up and swell down. But it sounds huge. Like it's just incredible how I think the electric bass is doing these like volume swells on the bass,
Oh, interesting. So
so you
they're
get this like growing rumble.
yeah, so they're being innovative with the playing as well.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Um, there's in the verses there's this like really high pitched violin sustained note. It kind of reminds me of the How to Disappear Completely by Radiohead.
Oh
It's like
yeah.
that violin note that's like kind of just strung out at the beginning.
Right. Right.
So they do that. Kind of the chorus ends, and then there's this like hard cut into the next section, and it's the same guitar part, but now it has this pulse to it. Like the drums are there doing these rim clicks just to keep keep the beat.
Oh, interesting.
And it becomes this like again kind of like folksy, indie folk, power song. It's like just stomping
Right.
on the kick drum. So it's like completely different songs, just kind of smashed together.
Oh, weird. I
Yeah,
kind of like when songs change, eh,
yeah,
personally. So that's kind of a
yeah,
fun thing.
yeah. There's some like in the lyrics. There's some like just for me like personal experience that feels very strong with some of the metaphors. Where he's like, "You played a good organ. The world gathered singing the words that you'd stolen."
Hmm.
There's stuff I won't get into it too much, but where I had an experience like that, like watching somebody perform and like reading the lyrics before she performed it because it was just piano, but everyone being so entranced by that. Um, but I think one of the more
This was your experience
my
of having
experience.
having somebody what steal your lyrics, or you steal your song?
No, just stealing. It was someone else's lyrics, but kind of that feeling like they weren't her words originally. They were just, but
Hmm.
she still wanted to make sure people knew them.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Um,
Gotcha.
and you get the bread metaphors in the chorus, where it ends with, "Don't eat your toast in my bed. Oh, darling, I never felt the crumbs until you said this place is not for any man, nor particles of bread."
Hmm.
And kind of coming to this realization, like, maybe you leave more pieces of yourself behind than you realize until someone calls you out and it's like, "I don't really want you here." And
Right.
you're like, well, so much of me is here.
Right. Right. Or, um, and you don't see it necessarily, uh, until somebody points it out.
Yeah.
Uh, there's a there's a song by there's a Roger Klein song, or it
Hmm.
might be, where they where he's saying, I didn't think certain ways until somebody said, I I didn't sound a certain way until somebody said I sounded like you. You don't, you put it in the context of
Hmm.
somebody else, and you realize either their influence, or how it's impacted you, or what their impact is in your life and what you emulate for them. Like when I was younger, and we go to dances, and your mom said, "Oh, you dance like the guy from REM in that video." I'm like, "Well, was I influenced by him, or was I,
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought I was dancing that way, but I'm sure that those things, interacted.
Mhm.
So there was traces of things that I
Right.
enjoyed. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Okay, but I like that analogy of toast, crumbs in the bed thing.
Hmm.
That's just really cool.
Yeah. Kind of fun.
Now I'm thinking about that.
Nice. All right. So next song, track 5, is Goodwill Hunting,
Yeah. Okay.
which, as far as I can tell, doesn't have anything to do with the movie. Um, I saw someone say that the drummer, his like Twitter and Instagram username was Great Will Hunting.
Oh, okay.
Um, so maybe it was just a little inside joke for them, which wouldn't be out of character for the
Well,
band.
have you seen the movie or know what it's about?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay. Well, just you know, let's see. When you describe this, let's see what we.
Yeah. Um, so this one, like the instrumental is kind of, it's two versions of the same riff that they had, but when they were writing it or recording it, they couldn't decide. There was one in like 6/4 and one in 4/4, and they're like, I don't really know which one we want to do, so they're just like, just gonna do both of them. Yeah.
That's
So
good.
in the,
They'll,
oh, go ahead.
they'll go. They'll meet up. They'll meet up somewhere.
Yeah, that
So,
makes sense.
yeah. Every once in a while.
Yeah. So in the verses, you get this like 6/4 riff. It's nice. It's simple and fun, and then in the choruses, kind of just flips into the 4/4 one.
Oh, okay.
That are kind of, it's really accentuated by the drums. I think the drums in this song are probably my favorite, even though they're not the most intense. They're pretty just like simple,
Yeah.
but they're really, really hard. Like they really hit really hard.
Gotcha.
It has this like really, rocking, like kind of almost like Smashing Pumpkins kind of outro chorus. There's a lot of distortion, and octave stuff that he does a lot. That
Gotcha.
it's just good. It's really good. It's good instrumental.
Cool.
But it has the lyrics are kind of like more of this imagination, like imagine this like idealized life. In the first chorus, it's, we summer in France with our genius daughters, and you teach me to play the piano. um,
I, I like that.
and I think it's not in the chorus. It's kind of like this pre-chorus part. I think the whole crux of the song is this lyric where it's like, I'm just trying to find some way to keep me in your mind.
Oh, I like that.
In the second verse, I really like the second verse. It's this like spaceship dystopian future analogy where he's I'll just read it. And if we're on a burning starship, the escape pod's filled with your friends, your childhood film photos, there's no room for me to go. I'll wait there, float with the wreckage, fashion a longsword, traverse the Milky Way, trying to get home to you, and you'd bring some piece of the stars.
Hmm.
It's just like, future vision of them together is like, I travel galaxies just to get back to you.
Yeah.
Even though the person is like, doesn't care, values her photos of herself and her friends more than him.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty straightforward. This is where he gets, there's this kind of mock conversation as the chorus, where it's like later on everyone will say it was cool, and that's where you get the she had Billie Eilish style moving to Berlin for a little while.
Yeah.
And just like these little things that people say in conversation.
Ah. Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah. But it's really good. It's one of the shorter songs. But it's good.
Cool. Like it.
Yeah. So the next song is Haldern, which is named after a music festival that they played at.
Okay.
And this song, I don't understand how they did this, but this song was completely improvised at that concert.
Nice. I like that.
Even the I guess he had the lyrics beforehand, but even the lyrics were improvised on the spot.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
this is definitely like one of the saddest songs
Okay.
on the album, even though it's really like has these like really like glitzy, nice piano chords. It's a pretty like basic idea again. With them, it's just basic ideas stretched out.
Right.
That just he tells this kind of it's basically this like four little not sonnets stanzas. Is that what they call them?
Yeah. 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 Stanzas. Sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why not?
These like four little stanzas that tell this story. That's where you get the lyric, the ignore this hole I've dug again. It's only for the evening.
Yeah.
Burying himself in his
Yeah. Yeah.
pity, self pity.
Yeah. Only for tonight, and then I'll make my way back out. And yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Sometimes we do that.
yeah. And then there's also this like feeling of love and amazement that you're like very obviously in love with this person and intrigued by them, even though it's not reciprocated at all. And then just trying to do anything to save that relationship up to the point where get the third stanza is we formed a ring around your home to stop your body from leaving, but you burnt the final question there and you rose out through the ceiling.
Wow.
So just like
Yeah.
proposing marriage, even to be like, come on, just stay behind, just this will work out. And still, this like witchcraft imagery of just rising out through the ceiling, just
Right.
completely avoiding it.
Wow. That's good stuff. Good lyrics.
Yeah. And then it ends with this like shame of feeling rejected, but she still like brings him in, like wraps him up in her undershirt, and kind of sounds just like pity sex or something,
Yeah.
like praying for the pain to leave him.
Interesting.
Yeah. But then it's really cool. The guitars and stuff drop out, and the violin, sax, and piano kind of do this like rising little melody, and you get to this like really harsh like and you get this like really really harsh like almost like horror movie-esque
Oh,
outro,
very
like the really shrill piano notes and all that.
interesting.
Really cool.
That is really cool. I like that.
Yeah. And then the next song, track 7, it's called Mark's Theme.
Okay.
So Mark is the saxophone player. His name's Lewis. So it's Lewis's uncle, who was a big supporter of the band, was like always at their shows, but died of COVID
Oh no. Okay.
just before or during when they were recording this. So the day that he died, Lewis wrote this song, and it's just an instrumental piece, mostly saxophone, piano. And it's really pretty. There's a bit of melancholy, mixed into it,
Yeah.
obviously.
Sure.
But it's very sweet and lilting and nice that they want to kind of immortalize him
Yeah,
on their album
that's good.
forever. And, yeah, it's really sweet.
That's very nice.
And I think
Very nice of them.
yeah, and I think it kind of serves as a nice mental break for the last half of the album, because these 7 songs up until now have been like the first 30 minutes, and the last 3 will be in the last 30 minutes.
Oh wow.
So you got these 3 huge songs right at the end.
Okay.
And they're just so long. I've kind of been doing like music lyrics in this. I'm gonna have to switch because they're just so long. I can't keep jumping back and forth. I'm kind of discuss both
Yeah.
at the same time. So we get track 8, which is the place where he inserted the blade. This one it kind of starts with this really nice piano arrangement. You get the melody of the chorus kind of built in, and the chords, and then it transitions smoothly into the verse, and then just bit by bit everyone starts coming in, and you get these lyrics about his love interest being afraid of a place where she's needed.
Yeah.
So but despite that, still tying him up. Um, so like having such a tight grip on him, it feels like breaking bones. And there's this melody of like, or this metaphor, not melody, of like when you break your arm, your friends sign the cast and everything. They can sign the cast, but the rest of my body is still yours. And
Hmm.
so even if it's signed by someone else, I still belong to this person.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Um, and then we get this like instrumental switch up. It's very swingy and bouncy. It almost feels like a circus in a weird way. Um, but then get lyrics again about things being good in his imagination until he wakes up and he freaks out.
Yeah.
Uh, Gets lost until she provides comfort somehow. I've heard a lot like the place where he inserted the blade could be like a sex thing, but it could also be like cooking related. There's a lot of cooking talk in this song. Like right before the chorus, anytime I try to make lunch for anyone else in my head, I end up dreaming of you.
Hmm.
The second verse starts with so clean your soup maker and breathe in your chicken, broccoli, and everything. So I like that more. I think it's more interesting.
Yeah, I think more is a food analogy. Um, anything, anything like that with maybe a word or two more in the title, it does have. I was waiting to hear if there was um, talk about sacrifice or feeling put upon to carry somebody else's burdens, because that has uh, like crucifixion type tones too,
Hmm.
when where they insert the blade. So there's
Yeah.
there just, but if there is talk of food and things, that is more of a metaphor. You insert the blade here, fillet
Yeah.
this way, and so it does push it that way if that's what they're doing. But yeah, interesting.
Yeah. I'm sure it's probably I wouldn't put it past him that it's both.
Sure, sure. And
um, because the chorus where it's show me the place where he inserted the blade.
hmm, yeah, and that's more about kind of identifying where the wounds lie in a relationship too.
Hmm.
Because you know everybody might carry some baggage, and you can just let them carry it, or you can be a vehicle for recognizing the pain, recognizing the injury, and helping to deal with it, or get around it, or resolve it. And often, well, just this last week, I I I always go back and forth on whether or not I let people know what other people have told me about them, mostly at work. Like,
Mm.
uh, here's what people have told me about you. This is what their experience has been. This is what my experience has been.
Hmm.
We can it's good to know what people are thinking, so you can have, come from a better place. But there is a lot of injury and damage that could occur if that was done with, if I said, well, I heard you were this way, and you're gonna have to prove a lot to me to overcome that. And it's not ever.
Less tact and
Yeah, that's not ever what it is. It's more, hey, my experience hasn't been this with you, but there is a chance that somebody has had this experience, and we need to do what we can to change their experience and change their perception of you, because I don't think that they understand who you really are.
yeah.
So, and I think that's the same with any any baggage that we carry. Is sometimes it's good to talk about how other people perceive you,
Yeah.
just as a way to understand things in your own behavior. Because in any rumor, there is a portion of truth. Now, how they perceive that truth. That's, maybe that's what is wrong, is like, oh,
Hmm.
you yelled at that person. Well, no, I yelled around that person because I was telling a story about somebody yelling. you know
Yeah.
something as silly as that, is I saw you yelling at your kids. I'm like, we were all yelling. That was the game we were playing.
Yeah.
That I wasn't yelling at them. You didn't see the next minute when we were all laughing because we are all being silly and
Right.
yelling. So, you know, so that's where sometimes you have to allow people to tell you what they felt or where the damage is, so you
Yeah.
can face it. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good. Those are good lyrics too.
Yeah. And then I really like in the second verse, it's similar to the first one, but everything is just like a little more intense, and even the singing, like he's jumped up an octave. There's references to the Concord again comes back, um,
Okay.
but then there's also references to Kanye and Bloodborne, the video game,
Yeah. Uh,
and kind of talking about like he doesn't need to be distant. Like this person doesn't need to be distant or cold to him. Like he's like, I'm perfectly capable of spoiling things myself. Like you don't need to make things worse for me. But in the end, you get the chorus again, and then you get these huge group vocals that, and it's really nice. It just kind of lets you experience how good they are at music, just playing songs, even just instrumentally, aside from all the lyrics, and it's really a nice moment.
yeah. It's cool.
Probably one of the last nice moments though,
Oh no.
because it gets really intense. The last two, you get track 9, which is called Snow Globes.
Okay.
This song's like 9 minutes long. It's so long, but it's crazy. It's such a crazy idea instrumentally that the lyrics I feel like are a little like understated in a way to compensate for that. Because like the main idea is it's just like very simple. Like everyone's just playing one note. Like no one's doing chords really. But it makes a whole chord altogether.
Okay.
It's very simple. It's not like super dark or anything. Just doom 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 doom. Very very slow.
Yeah.
But the drums are doing something completely different. Like it's like he's doing a whole nother song. He's just kind of going at it,
Okay.
soloing the whole time. Everyone else is kind of reacting to that. So like when his drumming gets a little more intense, they get a little louder, but he's not doesn't care at all. He's just
Wow.
going at it.
Okay.
And you get these lyrics that they're kind of vaguely religious in a way. He's talking to someone named Henry, um, and you get this reference to the clamp, which is kind of like a very consistent theme in Isaac's lyrics. It came up in their first album with the song Opus again, where he has the lyric, "Anyone can see that the clamp was breaking me."
Mm.
And I'm not super sure what the clamp is. He doesn't go into too much detail about what that means. Um, but in Snow Globes, it kind of seems the lyric is "We must let the clamp do what the clamp does best."
Mm.
And I think he's addressing Henry, or maybe Henry is him, but kind of asking like, "Hey, did you figure out how to deal with the clamp? Like, is it through ritual or people or religion or anything?" Um, there's like a reference to "When You Were Young" by the Killers.
So, does it seem like that is just a name for something in his past, like the thing that's holding him in place, instead of maybe not letting him progress?
Possibly, it seems like something that is just always gonna be there, though.
Yeah.
But in this song, he's kind of come to some peace about it. It's like I'm just gonna let the clamp be there, and I can find ways to get around it. And it ends well. It ends that kind of section with Henry, about whatever it is he's found to find comfort. Comfort. It makes Henry whole, but porously.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. That.
And then this is the part where the drums are just getting nuts, and you get this repeated lyric, "Oh God of weather, Henry knows snow globes don't shake on their own." And he, Isaac and the drummer, his name's Charlie, are just kind of having this like yelling match at each other. Like Isaac starts yelling these lyrics, and Charlie starts drumming harder and faster, and it's like almost like hard jazz drumming. It's just going nuts, and Isaac loses in the end. Like he has to cut out singing before the drums finish their solo.
Oh yeah. Okay. That makes
Um,
sense.
and then like as slowly as it built up to that point, it builds the same way back down, like people just dropping out one by one until it's just those single notes. They do their cycle and it's over.
That's interesting. That really is. Um,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, when you listen to it, the drums are so loud. Like it sounds like you are the drums. Like they're so loud, just covering everything up. But it's really really cool
yeah.
moment.
That does sound. That does sound good. There is here a slang for clamp. It says
Mm,
playing extremely good defense, often stifling an opponent's ability to score or move freely.
mm,
And then it says it implies the player is effectively shutting down their opponent, making them uncomfortable or unable to perform at their best. And it's used in basketball, but still it's stifling, shutting them down type
mm.
of thing. That kind
Yeah,
of sounds
that
similar.
that might fit in, especially with the last song, which is called "Basketball Shoes."
Oh well, so maybe he's a basketball fan.
Yeah.
I alluded to something unintentionally,
Yeah.
so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so that's that. So yeah, we get to Basketball Shoes, which is it's about 13 minutes long. It's a long song, but it's kind of like three songs in its own.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
one thing I'll say about all of these songs altogether is that everything feels very earned. Like it'll give you a really huge emotional, like powerful finale if you're just a little patient and let them get to it.
Okay.
But they're not gonna like
Yeah. Yeah.
knock
Yeah.
you over the head with like now we're being emotional, now we're being loud and cool. It's like you gotta earn it,
Yeah.
but it does feel deserved.
That sounds a lot like Death Cab for
Hmm.
Cutie, because what just as how you're describing it, what always amazes me is that they have ostensibly slow songs that are also extremely intense, as riveting um, and energetic as a fast song,
Hmm.
even though it's a slow song. If you were describing it, it'd be a slow song, but it's extremely intense. Like
Yeah.
uh, that sounds like how they build. Like this is really, really, really like it wakes me up. And usually slow songs will mellow you out, but
Yeah.
theirs don't.
Yeah. I
So
think
that's really cool.
I think that's a big element of like their genre. I've heard it described as like post rock,
Okay.
and that's other post rock artists are kind of like that. Like they have very like simple song structures that are just like really slow. They take a long time, but they reach these like huge uh, finales of just sound.
Yeah.
One of the big ones I think is probably a big influence for them is the "Godspeed You Black Emperor"
Okay.
is the name of the band.
Okay.
They're Canadian. It's just like all instrumental music, but they have these songs that are like 30 minutes long.
Okay.
But they're great, and they're not like super dark. There's like dark moments, but they're pretty like bright, colorful music, and but it's all instrumental. That's been their whole career.
Oh wow.
I think there's a little bit of lyrics. Like they have a guy who like samples audio
Yeah.
or like speeches to help them prove their point a little bit.
That's funny.
But there's no like singer in
Yeah.
the group.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The other thing I'll say about this song is that they've had this song for a while. They were performing this song even before their first album came out,
Okay.
and so you can find versions of them performing it with vastly different lyrics. Because this song it started out initially as about having a wet dream about Charlie XCX.
Okay.
And you still get kind of hints of that in this version. It's they changed it a lot to fit with the album more. But yeah, this is something that's been a part of the band since they formed.
Okay.
They've had this song.
Interesting.
So the first section is it's very quiet. Whenever I listen to it in the car, I have to make sure that something is playing because it's just so quiet.
Gotcha.
And for the like first 3 minutes of the song, it just kind of builds their way up. And you get mentions of Concord again and stick insects. This first part of the song, I feel like is kind of more of an acceptance of trying to be better or get better. You get lyrics like, "We're all working on ourselves, and we're praying that the rest don't mind how much we've changed."
Yeah.
Or on my dad's sofa, we are still, and we never look at our phones anymore.
Okay. Yeah, that's
I
good.
think it can also be read as kind of an admittance or hint that Isaac was planning on leaving. It was
Oh.
like there's lyrics that's like, if you see me looking strange with a fresh style, it's like you're not going to see me with the band anymore. You might just see me in the street
Right.
because I'm not going to be a part of this for much longer.
Gotcha. That makes sense. That's interesting when that's done
Mhm.
that way.
And then you get this. There's this first interlude part between the songs or between the sections of the song that brings back that initial motif from the intro. That everyone's kind of it's slowed down a lot more. It's very like quiet section of the song. Until we get these guitar chords that get like faster, louder, and the violin is doing this like playing all the strings like.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it just kind of builds faster, 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 and then there's this hard cut into the next section. And it kind of has this like I say kinda a lot. It has this feel of like a Midwest emo indie rock kind of sound, kind of twangy
Okay.
in a way. The riff that comes through, and this section is it's just guitar, bass, drums, very like traditional sounding rock song in a way. I was thinking I was listening to it this morning and I was thinking like it almost feels like them kind of playing a joke in a way, being like this is how any number of bands would have like a really intense moment, but it's not quite how we're gonna do it. Oh, it's also in this section. They bring back the clamp again, saying that what does he say? The clamp is a cracked smile cheek and it tortures me.
Oh.
So again, like not specifically saying I know he says like it is this, but just feeling like tortured and broken by the clamp.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. I like the repeating themes. That's always interesting to see where they're going with it.
Hmm.
It's very cool.
And I think this is also a little bit more of they haven't changed much since the original writing of the song. There's just lyrics of like, I can't think of anything better. Pick a hair off my sweater. Just this like dream about Charlie XCX and wanting it to be real. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, they do it. It's a pretty quick section, and then it goes back into the same kind of interlude that came right before it. But this time, it's each note is split up between different members of the group, and so they're kind of like all playing at the same time in a way, making this like really fun kind of dense chord.
Huh.
So you get that for a second, and then you just get
Yeah.
punched in the face with this like massive wall of distortion and drums and these like cymbal swells. There's like some choir vocals singing that motif. It's just huge. It the first time I heard it, like I jumped. I thought it was like a jump scare. So you get that, and then it goes into the last section of the song, which is just so good.
Okay.
It's another like the riff is pretty slow and it does its thing, and there's just so many like little details about this section I just love so much. Like when it comes in, the drums are doing this like boom chop thing with the riff. And then right when the lyrics come in, it changes to boom boom chop.
Oh, okay.
Just like little details that
Yeah.
like, you know, anyone would be like, if you just kept it the same, like kept it one way or the other the whole time, it would still be good. But the switch up is just fantastic.
Yeah. That makes sense.
There's only one set of lyrics for this section where it's just kind of repeated as the outro, but it's in my bed sheets now wet of Charlie, I pray to forget. All I've been forms the drone. We sing the rest. Oh, you're generous alone to me. Your crippling interest. And he just repeats that, and it's just like full force. Everyone's just going at it. It's a little noisy at times. He ends up like he just gets more and more intense with these lyrics, and it's just screaming them kind of over everything. And I think you can tell by the way he performs this, like, oh, this would not be a good thing to do to yourself.
Oh,
Day
wow.
after day, like the
Yeah.
how tortured he sounds singing this. Like, this makes sense
Right.
why you wouldn't want to do this, especially if he wasn't in the right mental space to continue doing it. And then it just, you get this like kind of loose freeform, everyone just like playing really fast, timeless feel, and then they hit the last chord and it's just silent. Like, there's a little bit of sound of them like turning off pedals and putting the drumsticks down, and it's just like we did it, we're done, you got there.
Oh, that's fun.
It's just incredible. Like, it's just
Oh, wow.
probably the best song ever written, in my opinion. And I think even that kind of sells it short by like just how good it is.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's the album.
So
It's just
that's
non-stop.
yeah, that sounds really interesting. Um, what so what's it? So when we were kids, there's a band called Iron Butterfly,
Hmm.
and so they have an album that has one side is a bunch of different songs, and the other side's only one song.
Yeah.
And the one song is the one that's the big hit, but it goes through all kinds of journey. And so, being that that was an early song that we'd listen to because it was 25 minutes long,
Hmm.
you get that kind of understanding of the journey of the song and changing moods and such. And it's but it this sounds more different
Hmm.
in it because theirs was kind of on a same theme. This takes a few different ideas.
Yeah.
So that sounds good.
Yeah.
So do they have any subsequent albums after this? Are they still a
Yeah.
band? Okay.
Yeah, the rest of them are still performing. They're still Black Country New Road. They said in their like statement after Isaac said his things, like, we're not going to perform these songs anymore. Everyone who wrote them was very important to the song, and we're not just going to replace
Okay.
Isaac. So if we can't have someone doing his part, we're just not going to perform them.
So in that are they still as interesting a band?
Yeah, I think so. I think there was a lot of worry because he was such a huge part, at least
Yeah.
perceived as a huge part. But they about a year later, they came out with a live performance, like where they just written all these songs in that year's time and performed them at a couple of different nights, and they had these like different themes each night. So it was like a prom, and then a pizza restaurant, and then like a haunted house or something
Okay.
for like just a video performance. But the songs are just, not all of them are great because they were written pretty fast.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
But there's a couple of songs where you hear it and you're just like, they're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
They're gonna do great. A couple of the other members took up singing duties, so it's spread out evenly. I think that's one of the things they said they learned. It's like, it's not good putting all the vocal duties on one person, especially there could be nights when they're not feeling great.
Yeah.
And so they want to get to the point where, like, I just, if someone's like, I just don't feel like singing today, they have enough songs they could make a set list and not have to worry about it.
Yeah, that makes sense. The reason I ask is because different bands, but one of them that was kind of from when when I was younger is the Gem Blossoms, and their first album that was the huge
Hmm.
hit was not written by anybody that was currently in the band. It was written
Oh,
by the first lead singer, whose name's Doug Hopkins. He wrote all the songs, and those are really still the best songs. The lead singer, and really their subsequent albums kind of were not great. And their writing abilities after that were not what, and so they kind of took those songs that Hopkins wrote because they were so fantastic, and just ran with it, and then he estranged from the band, and then I think committed suicide. So like, there's no more songs
mm,
and from that,
yeah,
uh, and so that was a hard thing, and that was kind of the bad version of what could happen is, they have one album,
yeah.
and it's great, but it's not, the subsequent
Yeah,
songwriting is not great.
yeah. I've heard someone kind of compare it to Joy Division, too,
Oh yeah,
where they had this
yeah.
huge. It's it's not their first album, but this huge album that was critically acclaimed. Everyone loved it, and getting ready to put out the second album, being like, I can't handle it. Like it's too much pressure. And in Joy Division's case, he killed himself, but
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
luckily in their case, he was able to be like, I just need to stop. Or I'll say,
yeah, and that's good because, and let me tell you, Joy Division was fine. They had a couple good songs, but New Order is still, they didn't suffer.
yeah,
They, it's different. It's a different band, but
yeah,
they are fantastic. They did not suffer from him departing like some
yeah,
others would. Some other bands, the lead singer is everything,
right.
but
Yeah, I think with Black Country New Road, with their first that live album, there was a song called Turbines/Pigs, and that song was like, when I heard that, it's like another like 9 minute long song, and I heard that and it's like, yeah, they're gonna be fine. This is a great song. And they just came out with a new album this year,
okay.
where all the girls in the band are the lead singers now, so they each take turns
Oh,
with
cool.
their own songs.
Yeah, that's
So it's
good.
got a much different feel because it's obviously very different perspectives, and it's a little brighter in some, like there's a little more upbeat songs, but there's still plenty of the same feelings that have been with the band the whole time. Because I think it shows that all these songs were written together. Like they weren't
Gotcha.
just a lead singer coming in and be like, do my vision.
Right. Well, that's good. It's good that they can share, and um, I'm always more impressed with bands where they have that ability. Like on a few albums, Weezer, they just traded instruments for different songs, and different people write different songs,
Hmm.
and different people can sing too, and that's yeah, I think that
Yeah,
makes for at least a more long-lived band if it's not just one singer who's the whole thing.
yeah,
That's not always true because there's many bands that aren't that way. That they have the lead singer. However, I was just listening to another documentary, and they were talking. I can't remember what band it was. It might have been Chili Peppers, but that Anthony Kiedis was playing this and that, and like, he doesn't play anything in concert, but apparently, and I don't know if it was that band. I think it was another one where the lead singer just didn't really play anything. However, he could play things, and that's kind of changes the whole dynamic. Is he's just playing a role in the band, but they actually has a capability. So that's kind of interesting.
yeah. But yeah, that's the album. I think this is a very like, I think it's a very human album. It's a very like living, kind of breathing album, and you can
Gotcha.
tell, it's not perfect. Like the performances aren't perfect. They're really great, but there's flubbed notes and some like sometimes the intonation's a little out there. There's a like background noise and stuff, but I think that's what gives it so much life and so much color, because it's, that's how life is and that's how humans are.
Yeah.
Like there's mistakes and there's unflattering emotions, but you just keep going, and not despite it, but with it, and
Yeah.
just bring that all with you in the performance. And yeah, I think the album, I think Ants from Up There is just, it's just full of that, and it's just fun to listen to
Good deal.
at the end of the day.
Good deal. Well, excellent. Appreciate appreciate the introduction to something I hadn't listened to before. So that'll be. I think if you're talking about new bands, you're gonna be winning on that, just because I haven't listened to a lot of the more obscure ones like this, even though I like to. So we'll keep trying.
Okay.
Um, well, cool. I think then I'll take my turn
Yeah.
next.
Next.
Next week. I gotta take as many notes and
Yeah.
see see what we can get done and get it put something together. I think I have an idea, because I was gonna start with some trying to start at the beginning type of deal with certain things, like the first exposure to a favorite. So I think that'll be an interesting discussion of maybe something that's maybe not quite as heavy as what yours was, but has some long term implications. So
Yeah.
let's see how that turns
Sounds
out.
good.
But
All right.
anyway, good deal. Well, I guess that's our discussion for this week, and that's dropping in at fairly lengthy, so you have some fun putting that together, and then we'll
Yeah. I'll see how that goes.
yeah see what I don't know. I felt it was a pretty dense conversation, so I didn't see some big spaces to cut out, unless it was all of my commentary. So
I won't take too much.
yeah. So anyway,
Well,
all right. Well, that's like pigs in space, and that's our discussion this week. For one more time, it's
Ants from Up There.
Ants from Up There from Black Country
New Road.
New Road. Black Country New Road. Good deal. I don't know why I'm blank on that, but there you go.
It's okay.
Well, good. Good.
All right, sounds good. Talk to you later then.